Now, Terri Steuben, an animal communicator, Reiki master, and medical intuitive, is also here. We're hoping to see if she can help us learn to speak with our animals. She may even have some suggestions or solutions for pets with issues.
Well, the idea is to get people to become aware that they do speak to their animals all the time, not just somebody special like me. There's a lot of animal communicators out there now that try and have their own little club, and that's not the case. Everybody does it. Everybody needs to know they do it, because sometimes we're helping our dogs be good, and sometimes we're helping them be bad. I think this is important because it also is combined with the city, and we need to get everybody working together, because there are more pets in the world today than there are children.
Wow.
And that's a Humane Society quote. There's 80% of the people have pets. 30% of the people have children.
Wow.
So there are more pet-friendly people in the world today than there were 20 years ago. If I could get anything across to people, I would say that keep in mind that your thoughts are what they see, because all animals are telepathic. So they see the picture in your mind. So if you're saying something to a dog, like for example, don't bark, the picture's barking. So they bark and then they don't. They're doing exactly what you're telling them to do. So instead you have to say things like thank you. That means thank you, which acknowledges their guarding. Be quiet is a different picture. And through that, they'll stop barking in about a week.
Great. Now, I'm fascinated by what you do. So how can I learn to talk to my pets?
Well, you already do. The thing is, we need to keep in mind what you're thinking. And we're not geared to that. Ever since we were kids, those who were gifted were told to shut off those thoughts. So now what happens is you have to just keep in mind what you're thinking, which we're not used to doing. It's like working a whole new muscle. So if you're saying to a dog, anytime you say don't, won't, can't, shouldn't, no, stop, the picture is always what you don't want them to do. So if you say don't get on the kitchen counter, the picture is get up on the kitchen counter. So instead you have to say feet on the floor. So we have to tell them exactly what we want them to do, and they'll do it.
God, it's hard enough keeping my words in control. Now I have to control my thoughts all the time.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Oh my.
Everything is becoming telepathic.
Now, since you're an intuitive, would you have to meet my dog to figure out why she pants all the time, or can you do it just by seeing a picture of her? I mean, the vets can't figure it out.
Well, no, I don't have to see the pet. What happens is everything has its own vibration. Anything living has a spirit or whatever that's a vibration. Everyone's a little bit different pitch, so to speak. So as soon as I hear a name, I can pretty much tune into the animal. That goes into the medical intuition that I do, which I feel the pain in my body where they have pain, and I usually use herbs to treat animals, and I tell people I'm not a doctor, but I use herbs, and a lot of times it takes maybe a little bit longer, but it's a permanent cure. Whereas with vets, sometimes they give them medications that are petroleum based, so you give them something for their kidney and it'll tear down their heart or their lungs or something like that. So I use herbs, and we usually see immediate reaction with them.
Now, is there a good way to explain to a cat why he has to stay indoors when he sees other cats wandering around outside?
Well, that is the trick. You have to explain to them why they need to be in. There are good things you can explain to them. Say, for example, you're afraid that they're going to get run over by a car.
Right.
And if you're afraid of that, you're going to show them a picture that basically is going to tell them to get into the car. So what you're doing is you need to tell them that you want them to stay in because you want them to live a long time in their physical body. If they get hurt and they end up out of their physical body, that would hurt you a great deal, and that you keep them inside because you want them to be safe and you want them to eat good food and good water. Now, I've also had a cat that said, but I get good food and good water, but I still want to go out. Okay, the other thing is you need to start with a pet at a younger age if you can, because once a pet is used to being inside, they don't necessarily want to go outside. The other thing is if you have a pet that's small and you keep them inside and then all of a sudden you start letting them out, they're not used to looking above their head. And that's when we end up with problems, because that's when coyotes and things can grab them very quickly. Whereas if they're used to going in and out, and I've seen all kinds of things, and they all work. But if you're afraid of them being outside, then there's something that's going to happen to them.
Okay. Now, can you communicate with pets who have passed away?
Yes, yes. And that goes back to the vibration thing, because once you leave the physical body, you still have that spiritual tone with you. We were just talking I think it was yours.
No, it wasn't me.
It wasn't yours.
I wouldn't have asked that question. That would have been stupid.
It was your pet that's still sleeping on the bed behind your legs. Yes, it's yours. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
So blonde.
It's yours. Yeah, it's yours. But there are other animals, and a lot of times it's very helpful, particularly after or right before a pet is getting ready to cross, to have a conversation with me, because I can tell you, things they really enjoyed, what they want to have happen to them. And then after they cross, people will call me, and then I'll talk to them about things that are happening around the house. I had a dog last week where they were moving the rings and jewelry and turning on the bathroom light. And it was a phone session, and the guy goes, "Oh my God, you're absolutely right. We thought there was something wrong with the socket." I said, "Nope, It's the dog."
Wow.
So believe it or not, they can play with electrical things because that has to do with energy.
Right.
And we're all energy.
Right.
So that's where it comes from.
What did you like best today?
I really liked the animal communicator. I thought it was fascinating to find out that our animals can tell what we're thinking. It's amazing.
That is a little scary.
I know. Gotta watch my thoughts.